They tell us homelessness is unavoidable, that there will always be a permanent underclass, including veterans who once wore the uniform. In January 2015, Elizabeth spoke with Lloyd Pendleton, the man Utah put in charge of chronic homelessness. He didn't form a task force or write white papers. He housed people first, real homes, then treatment for substance abuse, then job training and employment. Lloyd Pendleton's plan worked. Chronic homelessness in Utah dropped by roughly 70%. ER visits fell. Jail time fell. Local businesses gained trained workers ready to work. Lives turned around. So why 10 years later are people still sleeping on sidewalks and begging on street corners? Because solving homelessness is bad for business. Billions in federal and state dollars now pour into NGOs that manage homelessness, not end it. The longer the problem lasts, the more money flows. Lloyd Pendleton proved homelessness didn't have to be permanent. His solution worked, and it was shelved. From the Food Travel USA archives of January 15, 2015, here's Elizabeth Doherty.
Right now we're talking with Lloyd Pendleton. He's the director in the state of Utah for the Homeless Task Force. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
The reason we wanted to talk with you is you have a unique program going on there where you are actually giving homes to homeless people. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I can. We are using what is the new model called Housing First, and these are for chronically homeless individuals. And a chronically homeless individual is an unaccompanied adult with a disabling condition that's been homeless a year or more, or 4 times in 3 years. And they're very challenging mental health issues, substance abuse issues, and so we're working with them to get them into housing.
Now, some of them don't like to live inside. Is that right?
Correct.
So you work with them on that?
Yes, we do. And we find most of them will come into housing. Some may take a little longer to engage and get them where they will come in. But some are housing resistant, may take a couple of years to get them into housing.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people understand that they think that they're living outside by necessity, and sometimes for them it's by choice, isn't it?
Yes, sometimes it is by choice, usually because of mental health issues. And so to go into 4 walls and be there all by themselves is pretty challenging many times.
So when you stack this up versus state aid, for instance, in other states, they have programs where they have shelters and that sort of thing. When you stack this up against that, how does it cost out? I mean, is it cheaper? Is it more expensive?
Well, what we have found, we did a small study, and it was similar to other studies done across the United States the last 8 to 10 years. The chronically homeless person on the street will cost the community about $20,000 to $40,000 a year per person. And that includes visits to emergency rooms, EMT runs, jail time, interaction with the police, time in the shelter. And so they're very costly to the community. And many people don't realize that. They just see them out on the street or in the park and say, well, they're okay. And we found that we can house them for about $10,000 to $12,000 a year with case management and rent assistance. Now, also, we don't give the housing to the homeless. They pay rent. So they pay 30% of their income or $50, whichever is greater.
Okay. And then do you help them with finding jobs?
Yes, we do. And so as we get them in, get them stabilized, get them into treatment, then we have an employment outreach that works with them, the residents. And we did a pilot over a 24-month period where we went from 12% having income through employment to 35% having income through employment.
What kind of jobs? Are these jobs with the state or out in the community? Or
they're out in the community, basically, and most of them need maintenance jobs, custodial jobs, some skill. The important thing is they show up and they do their job. And then as they get that kind of experience, we'll work with them with vocational rehabilitation to get them increasing their capacity through training, maybe some modifications for their physical disabilities or whatever.
Now, do you have a website that people can go to look at the model of your program? Because I saw some different things with pictures of the inside of these places. They're very, very nice.
Well, yes. Many of them are brand new. They're 5 years old or less. And some of them are rehabilitated hotels, which then the rooms have been redone. And so we have a website in where we have our annual homeless point-in-time count that's put out, but we don't have a website that shows all of these units.
Okay. Well, just so people know, basically it has, it's like an apartment. It has a kitchen,
correct,
bedroom, living room, and all the regular amenities, refrigerators, appliances, all that stuff.
Yes, it is. And they're about 370 square feet, for the hotel room, it's just the hotel room, but we put a kitchen on the wall. It's the other side of the bathroom wall using that plumbing. And then it's all furnished. And so they have a bathroom, a kitchen, and that room. So, they're not large, but they're nice and comfortable and much better than on the street.
What made you decide to start this program?
Well, the federal government has been promoting this since 2002. They encouraged all the states, counties, cities to do a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness. And the state of Utah in 2003-04 went through the training process and developed a plan, got it approved in 2005, and then started to implement this housing first model and rapid rehousing in order to get people off the street and into housing.
Do you have any idea how many states are doing this?
Well, and there were about 350, 375 10-year plans done about 6 or 7 years ago. And the federal government, through HUD and Veterans Affairs and Health and Human Services, has been promoting this and repurposing their funds towards housing for the chronically homeless individuals. So all the states are signed up through the federal funding process. So they're all doing it, some more effectively than others.
So this starts at a community level then?
Correct.
Okay.
And in Utah, we've been very fortunate. We did it statewide. The state's been leading it. We call it centrally led, but locally developed. And we then have had great collaboration in order to come together to build over 1,000 units for our chronically homeless citizens and getting them into housing.
Michael has a question for you.
All right.
We're talking with Lloyd Pendleton. He's the director of the Homeless Task Force in the state of Utah. How do you identify the homeless person, and how do you get them into the program?
Well, we have a fairly good shelter system, so most of them will stay in our emergency shelters. And so we will have case managers that will outreach to them, and about 10% of the homeless population are the long-term homeless or chronically homeless. And so we know who they are, and they have to have a disabling condition. It means they have some mental health issues, substance abuse issues, physical. And so, there's a specific definition in order for them to qualify for this type of housing. So, and we also have outreach teams that go out into the camps, along the river, up the canyons, and make contact with them. And, we'll see them over a year or 2 or 3, and we know that they have issues. And so they're identifiable.
All right. Once you have them in the program, how long are they with you? How long do they stay in your shelters and in the housing first?
Well, in the housing first, that is permanent housing. So they can stay there until they die. And so it's permanent housing. We realize that. But we have about 10% who will move out successfully into better employment, other housing, reconnect with their families. We have about 2% that die in the housing, and we have about 2% that just walk away. They go back out to the street. And we have about 6% that will be evicted for not paying their rent or for not being a good citizen, and that they will start to become aggressive and threatening to the other residents in the unit. So we have about that amount of turnover a year.
Gotcha. How many people are participating in the program right now, total?
There's a little over 1,000.
Now, are other states contacting you? Yours is getting a little more attention because of some TV appearances and things like that you've been doing. Are you getting more attention because of that, and are other states following your lead?
Yes, we have had many states come in and take a look at what we're doing. We have more states coming in to look at what we're doing. Because of the Daily Show, I've probably gotten about 175 email, Facebook, LinkedIn requests, plus some straight requests for information. And so, yes, we've had a lot of that.
Gotcha.
And we had the New Yorker article, and we have Mother Jones doing an article next month.
Now, where are you finding the housing units? You said abandoned hotels. Is that what they are?
Well, we had a Holiday Inn here that had 291 rooms, and it was purchased and rehabbed. Some was made into 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom for chronically homeless families, and the rest are single units.
Got it.
The rest we have just built.
And this is a win-win-win situation because you're also
Absolutely.
helping the business community as well with a supply of workers, aren't you?
Correct. And getting them off the street and out of the jails and getting them stabilized. So, yes, it's blessing many people's lives.
Well, Mr. Pendleton, we like what you're doing. We hope that more states will follow your lead because it's got to be personally rewarding also, in addition to making a difference in your communities there. And we thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Elizabeth.
Lloyd Pendleton, Director, State of Utah Homeless Task Force. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
For 15 years, Elizabeth Doherty and Food Travel USA have been telling the truth about food and travel. Now it's your move. Go to foodtravelusa.com and dig into the archives. Real reporting, real interviews, and a treasure chest of recipes made without additives and preservatives. Follow Elizabeth on Facebook and X. Everything links back to Food Travel USA. Have a story idea or something you want investigated? Email her directly at foodtravelusa@proton.me and sign up for her newsletter. Listen anytime on Elizabeth's 24/7 streaming audio channel, featuring 15 years of shows, highlights, and hard truth. New episodes drop every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. Elizabeth Doherty's Food Travel USA. 15 years, one mission: the truth about food and travel.
Food Travel USA.